What's up, guys? It's the Sound Alchemist here with
Gersh1,
aka Meats and Potatoes. Whoop, 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 whoop.
This is a video series where we answer the questions left by you, the viewer. If you want to ask us a question, simply comment in the comment section below. Put question in front of your question because it's easier for us to filter through all the questions if they're labeled by question.
And because I said meat and potatoes, we didn't get a chance to say the name of this segment, and it's called For the Greater War.
So this first question comes from Enigma of GR.
What'd you call me?
Yeah. Do you think we will see Grey Knight Primaris Marines? If so, do you think they would get their own special pattern Aegis armor and Nemesis weapons? Or would this be heretical, as it would reveal the truth behind their gene seed?
Well, first of all, the Grey Knights are actually fighting alongside the Primaris and Guilliman. The new Supreme Grandmaster Voldus, is he the Supreme Grandmaster? I'm not sure. But Voldus is alongside Guilliman. He's kind of like his right-hand man. So, so far we haven't seen any Primaris Grey Knights.
But will we in the future? More than likely, yes. Just because, again, if you put a Grey Knight on the battlefield next to a Primaris Marine, that Grey Knight looks like a bitch.
Yeah, it looks like a badly proportioned holy warrior.
I'm excited though because the Grey Knights look cool.
Mm-hmm.
So now it's gonna be like a Primaris Marine that kind of looks already like a knight. So it's gonna be like a knight inside of knight armor.
Mm-hmm.
Good question.
Yeah, if you've seen the Psykers for the Primaris Marines, hopefully they look something like that because that looks badass.
Yeah.
This next one is by Ajax085. Would the Imperium had fared so far, or how would the Imperium had fared so far if it had equipped and trained the Imperial Guard a little bit better than it does? Sure, they have specialist troops and squads to do the heavy lifting when needed, but they generally just bog the enemy with standard guardsmen. If they had better gear and training, how might the lore differ? So yeah, basically.
So I think they would work more with Space Marines, because the reason Space Marines don't really work with Imperial Guard is because the Imperial Guard is seen like extremely
Low tier.
Yeah, low tier to the Space Marine tactics and just abilities. But if they were trained better, if they were controlled better, I think it would be more like in 30K, where Imperial Legions were combined with
Space Marines.
yeah, there you go. Next question.
This one's by, or you got one?
I got one from Matt. Who would be more scared of the other? A Commissar or a Space Marine? Space Marine is the scarier one.
Yeah. Obviously the Commissar can just be like, bloop. But a Space Marine doesn't need to go bloop. He can literally just squish your head. Kind of like the Mountain in Game of Thrones.
Basically, Game of Thrones.
Speaking of Game of Thrones, it is out. What do you guys think of the first episode? You haven't seen it yet. Well, we have, because this is future us in the past.
Yep, time travel, warp is different.
Mm-hmm.
You understand.
Speaking of warp and time travel, this is a question by Actual Crap. What is the difference between a sorcerer and a psyker? If the question is not answered, I will detonate the explosive charges I put on the Golden Throne.
A sorcerer and a psyker? So a psyker is somebody who has the innate ability to use or manipulate the warp in some way. A sorcerer gets books and shit, and through reading he can manipulate the warp. Anybody can be a sorcerer, not everybody can be psychers.
Right. That's a good way of putting it, yours.
Next question comes from the Nutella. We like to rub that on them Primaris Marine abs.
Mm-hmm.
If you could add in a new alien faction, what would it be like? I ask this because the space weeboos don't really seem right to me, as being the only other major Xenos nation. No, the Tower, not the other major Xenos race. You have the Eldar, the Orcs, the Tyranids,
the Necrons.
So those are pretty huge alien races.
Yeah, but if we could add one, I'll say it again. A water-based Xenos race. I feel like water is like nowhere seen in the 40K universe. There's like little pieces of like, oh, you got like orc submarines and stuff, but you don't really see much else. So like to have a water-based race would be pretty cool.
I would have the ragdolls, I think they're called. We have a video series on them, so check out the channel for the playlist. But they're a species that's already existing in the Warhammer 40K universe, but it's not playable right now.
Right.
And they're pretty cool because they're like multi-armed, multi-footed, like just
Beasts.
creatures. Yeah.
They're like a mix of like salamanders with like
Cthulhu.
Mm-hmm.
It's really cool.
Yeah. This one's by Lucas Smith. Will Primaris Marines have scouts? And if so, what will they look like and how good will they be? They got scouts. They're called Reavers. They're pretty cool.
Yeah, they have dreads. So
Yeah.
they're cool. Next question comes from JJ Jumaweed. Is Omegon Janus of the Grey, Janus of the Grey Knights?
Omegon is dead, supposedly. Or is that Alfarius?
Or maybe both.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no.
Richard Eater, do you think Ultramar will become a second capital of the Imperium, kind of like Constantinople did with the Roman Empire? It kind of already is the unofficial second capital. Basically, if you live in the Ultramar section, you're probably in one of the best places you could be. It's well protected. Pretty much everybody there has a good life. In recent times they've been attacked by the Black Legion, but you got Gilliman waking up, you got Calgar, you got Sicarius, you got Tigurius, you got Telion, you got a bunch of named characters, so they're gonna be doing work.
Yep. John Redcord, is there a time where you guys super drunk and did something embarrassing and regret? And also, which hip-hop artist would make a great character in Warhammer 40K? Hands down, Busta Rhymes.
Yeah, I could see him in the 40K universe.
He would be in Terminator armor, but it would be like Terminator armor with some type of special anti-gravity device that lets him move as if he's, the speed of a scout. So he's like running, but he has like a bunch of armor, and his dreadlocks are just... Yeah.
That's a pretty cool image. I think it would be Flavor Flav! Yeah, he's still alive and kicking. His clock is actually an anti-time device that actually keeps him in stasis. So he's like in our time, but time has stopped around him. So he is cloaked in time, similar to a Catan. No, not a Catan. A Chronomancer from the Necrons. So he's just going to be doing what he does.
Yeah. And then, has there been a time when we've been super drunk? No.
We don't drink, guys. Come on.
No.
We tell you to drink in our drinking game.
Next question.
All Might, is the Emperor human?
Yes.
R. Rod, which meme do you like the most?
From Warhammer 40K, my favorite meme is the commander riding the band blade with the sword.
Bring me closer.
Yeah, so I can hit him with my sword.
Yeah.
That's my favorite.
The one I like is it has like My Little Pony, and there's it's like ripping it in half.
Yeah.
Because everybody wants bronies in the Warhammer lore for some reason.
Yeah, the thing says, what is it? Magic is heresy.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Or love is magic, magic is heresy. And there's another one too where like there are people and they're all crowded around a table and there's a map on the table and there's a guy with a sword again, and then the caption's like, Bob, put your sword down. We all have that friend.
Mm-hmm. What's your favorite meme? Comment it down below.
This question comes from the Nutella. Apart from souls, what is the Emperor's favorite breakfast cereal? Nails. Without any milk.
Ooh. Bowls without any cereal.
Damn. He doesn't eat.
Mm-hmm. I've got a tube in the side of my belly.
Yep. That's like the opposite of a catheter. Next question.
This one is by Madara Uchiha Mizukage. What would happen to Fulgrim if GW gets rid of Slaanesh? That's a good point. What would happen to anything that's allied that's allied to Slaanesh if Slaanesh is gone.
I don't think like the power would go away. I think like Slaanesh wouldn't even be killed really. Like I think GW would make it in a way where like the power of lust. What else is Slaanesh represent? Like lust.
Power, isn't it like just like the love of power?
Yeah.
Like ecstasy and stuff like that.
Yeah, so that would like disperse and there would be no entity, but the actual feelings and whatnot would still exist, much like they did back during the old one's time, where there's no real entity. So Fulgrim will still be around with his powers, it's just that the actual triple-tittied avatar would be gone. Yeah.
It brings a tear to my eye.
I don't think that would happen though. Yeah. Next question comes from Nelson Tass and Game Archive. What's the worst way to die in 40k, excluding anything in the afterlife, like Slaanesh and the Eldar, and anything that would keep you immortal, like what some Chaos Marines do to some of their captives? Definitely the Dark Eldar flailing you, and then burning you.
I'd say being turned into a grotesque or a vrak, because basically they get you, they experiment onto you, and then they like put a iron mask on you where you still have a little bit of yourself in there, but you can't really control yourself, and you're kind of, if you've seen Get Out, it's basically that.
There you go.
Yeah. Guide or Good or Good-D, I don't know how to pronounce that. Gude. Once there was a green Catan named Luigi. After he devoured a star, he was invincible for a certain amount of time. Librarian Toad. Imperial Koopa Castle, M39. That's not a question.
No. Garvin Evans. If you had to join the Space Marine chapter, the Space Marine chapter. Sorry, let me do this again. If you had to join the Space Marine chapter you hate, which would it be? Personally, for me, it's the Iron Hands. Why do you hate the Iron Hands? The Iron Hands are cool, man.
Yeah, there's just not a lot of lore on them.
Yeah. But if I had to join a Space Marine chapter, it would be a Chaos Space Marine chapter.
Because you hate chaos.
Yep, and it would be a Nurgle, because I hate small holes.
And what would you do in that chapter?
Poke my holes.
Fill them up, boys.
What about you? Oh, I just get like itchy thinking about small holes now. Alright.
I would probably join the, what are those guys called? There's also a Chaos Legion. They're like...
The Noise Marines?
No, it's like a cult for Nurgle. They're like a bunch of sorcerers, and they put like worms in their bodies.
Ew.
Yeah. I forgot what they're called, but basically they're like Nurgle sorcerers that have worms in their bodies that basically eat the decomposing bodies. So as the sorcerers get weaker, the worms get stronger, and then eventually the worms crystallize themselves into a new body for the sorcerers.
Oh, I know. Yeah. But they're like connected to Plague
Something
Marines
like
or
that.
whatever. I forget their name, but I know what you're talking about. And they look like sacks.
Basically. So sacks and little holes, guys.
Last question.
Veracor. He's got 2 questions.
Okay, cool.
First of all, what's the best or funniest moment that has happened to you guys in a tabletop match?
I mean, I can't really think of anything funny, but there's been situations where, like, oh, I got one. Gretchen's took down a Tyrannid.
Was it Moloch? Or
No. It was the Flying Hive
the
Tyrant.
Hive Tyrant, yep.
He was flying. The Grot's shot. He took a wound, I think, and he came crashing down and burned.
Yeah.
That was funny.
I think this happens in practically every game that I've been in. I'm rolling my dice. I'm like, okay, I can make this roll. I need anything but a 1.
Triple ones.
Triple 1.
You've gotten triple ones before. Also, my Big Mech with a shock attack gun never does anything.
No.
Ever.
He's always in the games.
But either misses or when he hits, his attack is like strength 2.
Yeah.
Yeah. What was the other question?
This one is... Are living saints always present, or are they summoned when needed most? They're always present, because Saint Celestine, she's a saint, and it's not like she just disappears and then arrives when she needs to. Because again, in Gathering Storm Part 3, Rise of the Primarch, she was traveling with Gilliman for like the whole time. She didn't like disappear or anything.
She could come and appear and stay. Kind of like a demon.
Ooh.
Those were the questions for this week, guys. Thank you for sending them our way.
As always, we answer these 3 times a week, so if you didn't answer your question, hit us up down in the comments below and we may get to it next week.
With that said, see you guys tomorrow. Or, I mean, you'll hear from us tomorrow. Yeah, you'll hear from us tomorrow.
Yeah, we'll hear from you guys. We won't. We'll just read.
This is Gershwan,
the Sound Alchemist. We won't be seeing or hearing you, but we'll be there in spirit.